throw it away. Every moment's one more chance to stand up or get in the way. So when I go, I want the world to know I won't bend, break, I'm going away. Every moment's one more chance to stand up or get in the way. So when I go, I want the world to know I was alive. I was alive. I want the world to know I was alive. I was alive. I want the world to know.
Hello and welcome to New York, site to race number 4 of the NRSL Reebok Truck Series in season number 4. And it's our first road course race of the season, so this could be interesting. On the front row today is Amanda Shelley and Tim Randolph. I believe it's Shelley on pole. Starting row number 2 is Jessica Shelton and William Brock. James Qualls and Zach Flickinger make up row number 3. Kev Shear and Elijah Gilbert, row 4. Aldra Baranowskis and Zachary Fitzwater make up row number 5. Not sure what was with row 4 there. Here's the rest of your starting grid. Chris Louvier comes in as the points leader in truck number 40 by 42 points over the 00 of Kev Shear. Both drivers with 2 top 5s in the first 3 races and 0 wins. Max Anderson, the highest of our winners so far this season, is 3rd in points with last week's winner, Delon Abrahamian, now up in 4th. James Shelley, the all-time winningest driver, rounds out the top 5. Rest of the top 10, Amanda Shelley, Sky Commons, Joshua Osborne, James Qualls, and Elijah Gilbert. Worth noting that coming into this race, there is the possibility that anyone that was top 16 in the points could leave here as the points leader. However, that is very slim for the drivers who are 15th and 16th, being Jessica Shelton and Jack James. Here's the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Because this is a road course and because all of our road courses are caution free, there are no onboard cameras unless I choose to take one, but that's going to be more of an impromptu onboard camera. So no official, like, this sponsor here onboards, put it that way. Field has gone rolling. Looks like we're all set to go. I don't see anyone making the signs that they're going to peel off to pit lane. Fair warning on my notes for this, it did say the I-9 needed work, and I see part of it right there. Watch out for lap 1. Green flag is out for 18 laps at the Glen. And this was the Bellsouth Mobility 150, already 3 wide, 2 of the Pollards right there, and Vince Almarego in the 66. Already trouble James Qualls around, Aldra Baranowskis, and big time issues in turn 1. Kyle Matthews involved. And Johnny Gardner, one of the hometown heroes, just randomly blows up. Engine issues for the Miller Lite Dodge. The 10 of Alexander Rowe with damage. Kyle Matthews, James Qualls, Sabrina Rogers, James Shelley, all with issues on lap number 1. Back up front, it's Amanda Shelley leading, William Brock 2nd, Tim Randolph 3rd, Jessica Shelton 4th, and Kev Shear in 5th. Where is the points leader? As I overshot it. There he is. He was scored 32nd. He's in his own little zip code right now. And I'm seeing these like some people are trying to pit. Steve Pollard to the pit lane. Trouble there. He goes around. And it looks like the 75 also pits. Dylan Young now makes contact. I'm quickly seeing why I was thinking that this could have used work. Alexander Rose had even more issues as Faith Rollins is in the kitty litter. William Brock now has fallen down to 4th. Jessica Shelton grabs the 3rd spot. And where is Kev Shear? Engine issues for the 00. The Crayola Toyota has blown up. And the first sign of any issues for the Toyota factory team. And Stephen Paul III is off in the kitty leader. Jonathan Zorline is off, hard hit into the carousel wall. And by the way, last weekend I apologize for confusing Bafode Sacco with Samet Ozcon's ride. So action fast and plentiful here already. Faith Rollins has been teleported back. Max Anderson, Chris Wilson, Stephen Paul III, Joshua Hyatt, all on the pit lane. There's Cole Deaver. And just like that, the opening stages about as active as we would have imagined. Header issues for the two. And quickly, top three single file. William Brock now to fifth as John Irvin has grabbed the fourth spot. Joshua Osborne, RJ Reynolds, Dylan Ebrahimian, Seth Cole, Elijah Gilbert, and Sky Commons there. I think Gilbert is back in 10th right now. And looks like this part of the field gets through the bus stop chicane just fine. Looks like Tim Randolph going to try and catch Amanda Shelley here for the lead. Have we had... Nope, no more issues there as far as I can tell. Actually, we'll have to wait for some of those guys to either get back on track or something. Shelton goes a little wide. That's going to open the door, I think, for John Irvin. RJ Reynolds got a little bit too much curbing as well. Ebrahimian now makes the move. That is for 7th there on RJ Reynolds, as Joshua Hyatt, the Atlanta winner, is now back out on track. And now Seth Cole's going to try and take his chance at the 09 of RJ Reynolds. Not going to get there, and Reynolds falls back just to 8th position. A little bit of... Oh, whoa, look out. Zachary Fitzwater's off the pace. This is going to be interesting right here. Amanda Shelley, Tim Randolph. Shelton now tries to take advantage, goes for 2nd. Not able to make the move, though, as now Shelley tries to driver's right of Fitzwater. Fitzwater throws the block again, and they're going to be 3 wide for the lead at Watkins Glen. Contact between the 68 and the 84. On the curbing for Shelton, it's going to be Tim Randolph now leading. Can he make the move on Fitzwater, who is tremendously off the pace? Shelton now gets thrown in behind Fitzwater and turned. Big contact, William Brock. Gilbert, and hard hit. Sky Commons involved. And that was a little bit overambitious. There's Chris Louvier. Rookie mistake there for William Brock, though. Just a little bit overambitious there, trying to get around the lap cars. Meanwhile, Fitzwater still throwing issues. John Irvin is off. Gets back on track just fine, but it's going to lose a ton of ground there. As you see all the damage to the right side of Ebrahimian's truck. Fitzwater just tremendously off the pace. There's Steve Pollard, Smet Ozcon. There's what's left of Shelton's truck. That's unfortunate. Tim Randolph, though, now continues to lead Amanda Shelley in 2nd, Osborne 3rd. And it's going to be Ebrahimian to 4th. RJ Reynolds now 5th, as they will have to try and deal with the 59 truck. And for whatever reason, I do not know why that truck is so far off the pace. It's almost like he's lost 4th gear. And the acceleration's just not there either, so it's some sort of engine damage to the 59. As Vince Almarego now catches up to this. This is a battle for position right there, I believe. Stephen Paul III. Yeah, that would be a battle for position as Almarego's off into the grass. Gonna hit the guardrail and gets back on track, again losing a ton of time. 31 is retired due to an accident. Because we run caution free, what we will do is at the end of the race we will show any of the incidents that I can find. So there is that. Elijah Gilbert back out on track now after serving some getting some damage repaired. Sam Young I see on pit lane. And now can the 68 hold off the 7? Right now it looks like Shelley is quicker. Just doesn't want to turn him though either, because this would be a stellar run though, especially with Kev Shear down the field. Anderson's had problems. Ebrahimian's got damage. Louvier is down the... Actually, Louvier's back into the top 10 because he's just stayed out of trouble. So I'm glad that this wasn't in the chase. That I will say that. Looks like Stephen Potter III at least up the speed a little bit, which is more than we can say for Fitzwater's truck. And still these two bumper to bumper basically. Amanda Shelley looking for an opening here on Tim Randolph. That's not going to be an opening. I think the pit window getting ready to open here as well. Got some curbing though. Gilbert is 22nd, last truck on the lead lap. Ebrahimian actually still running just fine, as there's Louvier, Jack James, and Almarego. And Fitzwater still, you see there, right there. He's not getting even to 4th gear on that straightaway at least. The true test for his speed would be the back straightaway. That's where you definitely need to be 4th gear. Meanwhile, battle between the 13 and the 40. Side by side through the S's. Give the spot back to Chris Louvier. You see it right there. Already like 10 miles an hour off for Fitzwater. And he just doesn't even get to 4th gear. So looks like Seth Cole starting to close in a little bit on our Joshua Osborne, I mean. Meanwhile, the leaders have caught and are trying to lap the 16 of Elijah Gilbert, who is somewhat up to speed. So Gilbert it's that straightaway speed. He's got the corner speed, but Gilbert just doesn't have the straight line speed that he needs to be able to stay on the lead lap. Meanwhile, now he needs to get out of the way of Amanda Shelley here. Needs to not fight this and just needs to get out of the way of the leaders here. Does an adequate job, at least, of getting out of the way. Meanwhile, RJ Reynolds, Seth Cole have caught the 0 truck and are starting to, I think, close in a little bit on the race lead. Meanwhile, Stephen Paul III is right in front of John Irvin, and this is not a battle for position. So, again, Stephen Paul III really should be getting out of John Irvin's way. And now... yeah, actually, these guys are, all 3 of these guys are catching back up to the race lead a little bit. RJ Reynolds is going to pit, though. Oh, that was so close. And so RJ Reynolds is going to be the first to blink and pit. From 5th position, Louvier, Jack James, and Almarego pit behind him. Let's see what the call is here for the Toyota team. Trevor Germain is on pit lane. He's had some issues. Left side's going on the 09 truck, I mean. The other thing we're going to have to watch is the end of pit lane here. It's going to be 4 tires for the 09 truck. Fitzwater is in, so that's going to be interesting. You see, Jack James actually gets out ahead of the 40. Now this end of pit lane is going to be treacherous as well because of that same pit wall that we saw, or the wall that we saw Shelton get turned into. You don't want to hit it, that's for sure. And it looks like these guys are going to be clean off of that pit wall. Binky Louvier and Fitzwater battling off the pit lane. And we look for the race leaders. They are on pit lane. Randolph and Shelley, both on the pit lane this time around. Just one lap later, will that undercut matter for RJ Reynolds? Shelley with a little bit of trouble getting into the pit stall there. And might have a tough out here with that pace truck right in front of her. It's a poor spot to have the pace truck parked, if you ask me. Samet Ozkan off pit lane. A little bit of contact there with the 68. And you see Shelley losing a ton of ground on pit lane there. And Shelley does hit it. Osborne gets into the pit wall and turns himself. Tom Shelley's there. John Irvin with issues. Where is Seth Cole? Still on the pit lane. Major issues for the 22 as the 11 now hits the pit lane wall. And Osborne, you see the damage. Meanwhile, Alex Perkle with full head of steam here, trying to catch John Irvin, who now has damage to the right rear of his truck. And look at the full head of steam Binky Louvier has coming into the bus stop. So damage now to the 88 as well. And 3 wide. Contact! More contact into the wall for Binky Louvier. And for once out of an incident, Binky Louvier is the innocent bystander. A lot of damage to the 69 truck. Meanwhile, Preston Plord trying to grab a spot from Chris Louvier here. That is for the 5th position, according to timing scoring. And as after pit stops, here's the full field rundown. Tim Randolph leads, Amanda Shelley 2nd, RJ Reynolds 3rd, Jack James 4th, Preston Plord 5th, Chris Louvier in 6th, Vince Almarego is 7th, Tom Shelley 8th, Alex Perkle 9th, Binky Louvier is in 10th. So that's a thing. John Irvin is 11th, Delon Ebrahimian in 12th. Aldra Baranowskis is 13th despite their issues. Dylan Young 14th. Max, no, not. Whoa. We thought Fitzwater was off the pace. Trevor Germain is barely getting to 3rd down the back straightaway. Elijah Gilbert is 15th. Sam Young's got weird shadow things going on with his truck. He's in 17th or 16th now. And yeah, so that's the full field rundown of lead lap cars or trucks. Samet Ozkan is actually going to be now in 17th. And just a long list of retirees. And I'm not quite sure how to explain some of it. Meanwhile, there's Samet Ozkan and Chris Wilson as here comes the race leader. And Randolph's going to catch him in a bad spot. He can't do anything here. So that's going to help Amanda Shelley. Samet Ozkan trying to get around the slower number 5. And Randolph nearly turns the 30. Randolph needs to get around the 5. And truth be told, Chris Wilson needs to just be getting out of the way. He's 2 laps down. Why are you blocking the leader, son? You are 2 laps down. Randolph finally is going to get around the 5. Now how much of a hassle does he prove to be for the 7 in the 09 truck? I mean, he's just out there trying to score as many points as he can. Let's be honest. And Shelley's not going to catch him in a good spot. And again, Wilson throws the block. So now can Shelley get around on the back straightaway? I mean, she's got RJ Reynolds all over the back bumper, literally. She literally can't make a move as Randolph now goes inside of Ozcon and off into the grass he goes. The leader is off. And now this becomes the battle for the lead. Amanda Shelley with RJ Reynolds. Shelley now finally gets around the 5 after the 09 gives her room to actually make a pass. So the pesky lap trucks is active here. As now Shelley and Reynolds now are the top 2. Jack James now will be 3rd. Preston Plord is 4th. Where is Louvier? Louvier's had issues. So too has Binky Louvier. So now Delana Bohemian is going to move up into the top 10. He's going to be 8th. So Binky Louvier throws away a chance at a rare top 10. And with 4 laps to go, this is the battle for the lead. Amanda Shelley versus RJ Reynolds. Jack James passes Chris Wilson, so Wilson finally lets someone go by easily. Granted, part of this is just where do they catch him. Now does Preston Plord catch the 5 in a good location is going to be the question. Meanwhile, Shelley starts to close in on the 30 of Samet Ozcan, who is on the lead lap. I mean, I can understand Ozcan trying to fight because he is the lead lap truck. Plord is gone stuck behind the 5. 3 laps to go this time by. This might be a good spot to make that pass as Sam Young goes down into turn number 1. Ozcan with the block of Shelley. He desperately wants to stay on the lead lap. As Joshua Osborne now has retired from the race. Ozcan stays in there now. This is going to help Reynolds because it gives Reynolds that easy gap. He almost tried to block Reynolds though. The story of survival in the Bellsouth Mobility 150. Like I said, I did say that the I&I was going to need to work in my notes. It does. What I can do to this, I don't know, but this was chaotic, to say the least. Congrats to those that are going to survive this. I say this a little bit early. Either way, now Amanda Shelley's going to have to deal with Sam Young, who again is a lead lap truck. Shelley tries to go inside and dive bomb the final corner, not going to work. And now on the curbing, here comes RJ Reynolds. 2 to go at Watkins Glen. Shelley tried to go inside of Young, but now Reynolds uses the 6 as a pick, who now blocks RJ Reynolds. Now Reynolds is going to move to the inside of Sam Young and clears, and it looks like Shelley should clear as well. Yes, she does. Battle for 13th now with Ozcan taking advantage of that. Next lap truck would be Chris Louvier, the points leader, who is still probably going to gain points on all of this. Either way, RJ Reynolds now, the race leader. Shelley looking for a line, looking for something. Now looks like they'll see the white flag. Well, they will see the white flag this time by. RJ Reynolds is going to see it first. They both get a little bit of curbing. White flag is out for the Bellsouth Mobility 150. If the leaders have oh no. Oh no. As I apparently clicked out of the game. Oh, why? Zachary Fitzwater is going to play a key role in who wins this race. RJ Reynolds versus Amanda Shelley. I think they're going to catch Fitzwater. I honestly do. I don't see any way that they don't. Reynolds is really hoping they don't. Does Shelley put the bumper to Reynolds? Shelley's looking. Not able to get there yet. Okay, I'm going to be astonished by this. They are not going to catch the 59 truck. Shelley at least put a nose there. Reynolds holds strong though. RJ Reynolds going to claim his first Reebok Truck Series win, and it comes on the road course. And we are now 4 for 4 in rookies winning. There's the 32 in 7th. The 17's going to get an 8th place finish out of this. John Irvin survives for 9th. I think Dylan Young was in there. We're just waiting on the 16 of Elijah Gilbert for the lead lap cars at least. There's Gilbert. Somehow is going to get an 11th place finish out of all of this. Seth Cole, 21st. I guess Trevor Jermaine wasn't as far off the pace as I was thinking he was. Either way, Stephen Paul III with the retiree status on his. Probably will count that because he was on pit lane. Only 11 cars finishing on the lead lap in what not entirely surprising to be an all-out wreckfest. RJ Reynolds, the race winner. Amanda Shelley, Jack James, Preston Plord, Vince Almarego, Alex Perko, Delan Ebrahimian, Alger Baranowskis, John Irvin, Dylan Young, and Elijah Gilbert, the top 11 that were all on the lead lap. I don't know what to exactly say. You see the drivers that all had issues today at some point. Unfortunately, just usually a product of a lot of my road course INIs. I end up getting them to that point, or to this point, and I try and get them away from it now. So, with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed and watched the entire thing, congrats. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't today. Congrats to RJ Reynolds on winning the Bellsouth Mobility 150. Actually, I will not see you next time. I'm sorry. I'm doing this outro, and I forget that I'm going to show you the wreck. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the incidents of the day, and then wrap it up after that. The first incident of the day, not a surprise that started so quickly. It was turn 1, lap 1. James Qualls, the unfortunate victim here. Let's see what happened here going into turn number 1. It's going to get inside of Jessica Shelton. Flickinger makes a little bit of contact there. And around they go. Hard hit right there. Baranowskis, there's Kyle Matthews involved. James Shelley gets involved here somewhere. Sabrina Rogers gets turned. Let's take a look at that part of it. Let's see what happened here with Rogers. Befode Sacco there on the outside. Yeah, just a little bit of contact there. Faith Rollins makes contact with someone behind this one. Shelly nowhere to go. Oh. So that was the turn 1 incident. Um, and of course, also just coming up the hill. I mean, he's perfectly fine right there. But then Johnny Gardner's engine just goes up in smoke. That was a interesting thing. I didn't expect that to happen, especially not on lap 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next incident. The next incident actually had quite a few incidents in it. Coming up to the bus stop, which, again, not a surprise to me, was a problem spot today. At some point, I hope that they go ahead and repave that. I joke because I say that because I know at one point I will use a version that has this paved out here. Either way, once the truck just gets on the grass for Hyatt, he's along for the ride. Also getting around, you see Max Anderson. He makes contact with Binky Louvier. Watch the red truck behind this if we can see it. Watch the 57, I believe. Maybe it was the 75. Either way, Anderson goes out there. You see Perkle gets out on the grass. There's Flickinger, Chris Wilson, Faith Rollins all going out sideways. That was kind of what set up to their day. I thought it was the 57. Maybe it's the 75 who does this. Yeah. Okay, so Card Pollard deciding to make his own track limits here, I guess, because he goes into the bus stop. He's going to make contact with the 9 and the 30, turns the 30 around, and then decides to cut the bus stop. And unfortunately, Alexander Road, just wrong place, wrong time, is going to hit the 30, and that's going to be the end of his day. And you see Johnny Gardner coming through this. So, yeah. Okay, so that was that whole ordeal. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Looking to see if anything, well, I was going to say looking to see if anything had just caused Kev Shear to actually have the engine explosion there, basically. But no, just literally casual, just it blew up. So unfortunately for the TRD racing crew, they're going to have to take a look at that engine and see what happened there. Found what started the day out for Zachary Fitzwater, or at least his day of misery. Coming down into the bus stop, he's going to make some contact here with the 18. Yes, he will. Goes out sideways, and unlike some of the other ones, he at least gets some sort of grip out there on the grass. And unfortunately, what happens is he just kind of hits the wall. Meanwhile, Stephen Paul III just goes sideways through the grass, and that's what causes his issue. And I think I figured out what I was looking for. Here's Bafode Sacco, him and the 98 Zorline. That's what makes contact there. Well, maybe that wasn't the issue. This is Zorline's issue for sure. Bafode Sacco was the next one I was trying to find, though. Let's take a look. Let's find where his incident was. Okay, I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen this happen on this track. This is what happened to Bafode Sacco to end his day. Contact with the 69 going into the corner. That's nothing out of the ordinary. Joshua Hyatt makes some contact, and around he goes, and pit wall. And that's a flag. So, yeah, that happened. And then not long after Bafode Sacco had his issues, here were the issues going into turn number 1, or coming out of turn number 1, I guess, actually. William Brock just pushes up the track right into Jessica Shelton and just, man, a vicious impact right there. Gilbert gets involved. There's Sky Commons as well in the 18, or the 77, I mean, making contact there. That'd be the end of Shelton's day and basically the end of Brock competing. So, yeah. So this is what actually put Joshua Osborne out of the race. This was the lap after his pit incident that we saw where he hit the wall. This was literally his next attempt at this. And that little bit of contact right there, the subsequent contact, is what puts him out of the race. So here was the answer to the big old question of what happened to Trevor Germain, why he was so slow that one time. Yep. Stephen Paul III is also one of those that had an adventurous day. I think we showed him having an adventure in the kitty litter once already. Well, he had another one. Him and Tom Shelley both go off, kind of helping each other out. And, add to that, Max Anderson also had a second adventure to the kitty litter. Granted, 3 wide into the bus stop. That's never going to work. And off he went. Oh, jeez. And the thing is, Pollard, at least, he ended up teleporting first because of the getting in there first, so. Yep. Well, this is what happened to relegate the points leader down the field. Trying to make an overtake on Preston Plort, or at least look for one, going into the bus stop. Just kind of outbrakes himself, makes a little bit turn sideways, and overcorrects, and off into the dirt. And it must have been just a Louvier thing because... Oh yeah, this was the same lap as Tim Randolph, okay. Must have been a Louvier thing because on that exact same lap, exact same way, there goes Binky Louvier off. Already had the damage as well to the right side too. And, oh, wow! Monster impact there for the 69 truck. Well, or I don't know if that cut off. Whoops. Well, either way, that was basically it for Rex. So again, once again, congrats to RJ Reynolds on the win. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time.